great week. It is Thursday, and I'm happy to be here. Hello, hello. I apologize ahead of time for my lighting. I was trying to find the best lighting that I could get to, and it's not looking so good, but it's the best we can do. Happy Thursday, everybody. I hope that everyone is doing well. I am not at home. I am away, but I said that is still no excuse to come to you and talk to you about Thought for Thursday, huh? So here we are. I hope that everyone has had a great week. I truly do. I have had a wonderful week, and we're going into a long weekend. I mean, how much better can it get than that, right? Hopefully, you have set aside some time to rest, rejuvenate, restore, and what about just have some fun? I think we deserve a little bit of that sometimes, right? I want to make sure that you're making a definite stride, making a commitment to taking care of you, being very careful and making sure to get out and do some things with the people that you love. Don't ever, ever, ever take any time for granted. All right. Well, today I'm talking to you about personal development. Now, I haven't posted it yet, but we have a word, which is pivot, which is also our word for the week. And I want us to think about a time, a situation, a circumstance where we may need to change direction. And a lot of us are really, really committed to doing things in a certain way. And it's difficult for us to make that commitment to change, to do things differently, even if we're not getting the kind of results that we really need to get. So I challenge you today to go ahead and look into making a pivot if you are not succeeding in the way that you want to succeed. And that's in anything that you're doing in life whatsoever. Not succeeding in taking care of yourself the way that you want to, not succeeding in relationships with others, not succeeding in handling things with others, handling your job, handling any other place that you may spend your time in doing anything at all, if it is not beneficial, if the process does not seem to be working, if the process is not yielding the results that you need, I don't care how long you have stuck with it, I don't care who has told you that it is the best way to do it. You need to make the evaluation to determine, is this really helping me? And if it is not, go ahead and make the pivot to do things differently. All right. So that's the first thing I wanted to tell you. And like I said, that's our word for the week, pivot. Look at all of your processes, all of your strategies, all of your templates that you are working from, and determine, just how far are they getting me? Are they really yielding the things that I want them to yield? And if the answer is no, look at how you can do things differently. Focus on what it is that you may be able to change soon. Focus on a timeline for making the changes and know that it is okay to abandon one thing for another. And I know that's hard for us, particularly those of us who are diehards. It's not the easiest thing to give up on one process to try another, but it is worth you reaching the goals that you desire to hit. All right. Second thing I want to talk about, which is what I teased a little bit about on our announcement for Thought for Thursday, is there are some things that you really need to ask yourself. All right. We're talking about personal development also this week. That's what our blog talked about. What are some things that you need to focus on? What are some things that you really need to keep in mind when you're talking about personal development? If you feel stuck, maybe you're not looking in the right places for answers and asking yourself questions. That's definitely an excellent way to find out what it is that you need, right? Sit down and do that assessment, just like we were talking a few minutes ago about assessing if you need to make that pivot. Now, the right questions are incredibly important, and they're stimulating to your thought process. So you want to ask the right questions when you're considering personal development. Ask yourself questions that you'll get answers that you can definitely use. You just don't want canned answers. You want things that are really going to help you to be able to excel. So, what does that mean? That means you're going to need to ask yourself questions, all right, about your personal development. And these questions need to focus in the areas that matter the most to you, because that's where you want to do the development. You want to develop in those areas that are of particular importance to you. Chances are they deal with things that you are passionate about, things that are of value to you. You want to deal with development in those areas and make sure that you're asking all the things that you need to ask in order to advance. So, what are some pivotal questions? All right, pivotal things that you need to ask that relate to personal development. And we're going to talk about five of them tonight. One, how do you sabotage yourself? That's a question that you want to ask. How is it that you sabotage yourself? We're talking about development. How is it that maybe you are keeping yourself from developing? And we all do it in some way or another, whether we realize it or not. We talk ourselves out of things, or we procrastinate, or we compare ourselves harshly to others, all things that are sabotaging us and really holding us back from personally developing. So, what do you want to do? Make a list of the ways that you've sabotaged yourself. I've just told you a couple things that come to mind right up front. Make a list of those things, if any of them sound like something you're doing, or anything at all that you're doing that you feel is really holding you back. List them out, okay? And then commit to putting those things in the past and moving forward. Be on the lookout for the patterns, because once you identify them, they're really going to start coming to your mind a little more easily as you move forward. You'll start to notice them. Oh, I already identified that I compare myself too harshly to others as something that I do to sabotage myself. Here I go doing it again. So you will start to recognize those things, okay? And when you recognize them, then you will definitely start to pull back from them. That's the goal of what we're trying to do, right? What's another question that you can ask yourself? Ask yourself how it is that you can use more of the useful knowledge and skills that you already have. Remember, we're talking questions that are going to help you in personal development. What do you already know that you could perhaps sharpen, that you could perhaps gain more experience with, that you could do something with that's going to help you to develop even further because you're getting better at it? Okay. So consider all of the things that you know. For example, if you're trying to do something with your health, if you're trying to lose weight, consider all the things that you already know about diet and exercise, and then examine them a little further. What else can I do? What else can I do with this knowledge that I already have that's going to make me sharper and help me to develop more? How much do you know, for example, if you're talking finances? How much do you already know about savings? If you don't know a lot, what do you know about money market accounts and investment? If you don't know a lot, or if you know a little, start with what you already know and then seek out opportunities to go ahead and find out more information via free classes that are offered. There are finance coaches now, even. Of course, financial strategists are out there. Any number of people and any number of resources you can tap into to get more savvy. How much do you know, for example, about relationships? How much do you know about teenagers in certain stages that they're in? Or, helping out with, volunteering with women, or volunteering even, some of us for families. What is it that you may need to know in order to be the best volunteer there is working in that industry? All examples of things that you may already know and you may just need to sharpen a bit, get a little further with, by seeking more knowledge about them. Imagine how wonderful life would be if you applied everything that you already know. And it may help you some days just to sit down and journal, just write until your little heart's content. All of the things that you know, all of the things that you really can broaden. And it is incredibly encouraging and incredibly inspiring to realize that you already know some things that you can definitely advance and some things that you can do even better with. All right. And it's encouraging because you'll see, particularly if you're dealing with some low self esteem things, you'll see, well, there are some things that I really do know. I didn't realize that I had knowledge around all of this. So you can move in that arena too. Okay. Question number three. What can you control? Very, very important. What is it that you can control? Again, keep in mind, I keep telling us, we're talking about personal development. What is it that you can control? We spend far, far too much time worrying about things that really we have no control over whatsoever. Many of us want to make ourselves be able to control certain things, but when the rubber meets the road, we really don't have any control over what environmental factors may do and affect something that we've planned, for example, to do outdoors. Or many of us feel that we can control people, we can give advice. We can, particularly, I'm thinking right now of raising children. You can raise them in the absolute best way that you know how. You can train them. But you were a child once too. And we did things our way because we wanted to find out for ourselves. So many people really beat themselves up if they've tried to instill a process or to do something. And the kids may not take the advice, or the people may not take the advice that you give to them. That is nothing that you can control. Okay. So, just a few examples of things that you really can't control. And we spend a lot of our time trying to make those things work, don't we? Particularly if it's people that we love, people that we care about, we want so desperately for them to see things our way. Well, we can't always control that. Keep that in mind too with your personal development. There are things that are going to happen that may prohibit you from developing. Perhaps you want to do something like go to school or advance in your education, and financially, you may not be able to do it right now. And it's really nothing that you can control. However, you may have to put it off and do it later. Realize that you must do it, is the point, and that delay does not mean denied. And the fact that you can't do it right now is really not something that you can totally control in most instances if you do not have the funds. Okay. So, those are examples. Something else you want to ask yourself: why am I doing all of this? Most of the things that we do are for others. Let's face facts. Frequently, we find ourselves either bending how we feel, bending what we do, changing our agenda because we're really trying to work with others or do things for others. How is that helping you with your personal development? Now, I'm not saying we cannot do things for others, right? There are times when we're going to have to, we choose to do the things that we do. However, there are also times when we need to really sit back and say, I am choosing to do maybe a little more than I should choose to do, and it is really hindering me and my personal development. So you need to look at that. Why is it that you're doing what you're doing? um, Make sure you look at that and then determine when it is hurting you, when it is helping you. The fifth question that I want to pose is, what is most important to you? That really kind of falls in line with some of the other things that I've already talked about. But what is most important to you? Because determining what's important is going to help you to be successful in developing personally, whatever that is you are deciding that you want to do as far as development goes. It may require you to give some hard no's to people, and also require you to give some yeses that may strain you a bit, things that you don't necessarily like doing, but you need to do because you know that it is best for you and it's going to get you further. So determine what it is that is very important to you, why it's important, and then work from there to make the changes that you need to make. And that will help you in deciding exactly what it is that you want to do and how it is that you want to pursue that. Okay. So that's it. I always try to do my 15 minutes. I think I did pretty good this time. So, again, think of the questions, make those pivotal questions. Think of those pivotal questions in determining what it is that you need to do, where it is that you need to be, pivoting what is needed basically to help you to personally develop. Make sure you're identifying how you're sabotaging yourself. Make sure that you're looking at all the things that you already know and what you can do to capitalize on that. Make sure that you thoroughly understand the things that you can control and why is it that you're doing the things that you're doing. Are you doing them for you? Are you doing them for others? Are you doing maybe too much for others? Are you not doing enough for yourself? And that fifth one is, why is whatever you're doing important to you? Ask those questions as you're trying to develop and to figure how you can actually achieve your personal development goals. All right. That's it for tonight. You guys go out and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Thanks so much for listening. Make sure that you encourage somebody to come and watch the replay. It's going to be up for a while. Make sure that you go out and be yourself confidently, boldly. Know that you are good enough just the way that you are, that your imprint is unique for a reason, that uniqueness is needed in the world. Go out and touch something and make a difference. All right. Have a great one. Hey, Tina, thanks for watching. Hold on, hold on.